We are gearing up for the runoff elections, and one of the races that we are following is for the CEO position of DeKalb County. One of the candidates for that race, Miss Lorraine Cochran-Johnson, joining us in studio right now. Thank you so much for coming down to studio.
Thank you for having me.
We appreciate it. So I want to get right into it. Election night. You got 46% of the vote. You ended with a lead ahead of your current opponent, about 9,000 votes over Larry Johnson. My first question for you, Ms. Cochran-Johnson, are you confident the voters will elect you for round two, and why?
I am very confident. Of course, I've had 5 years, 3 months, and 10 days to prove myself. I have worked very hard, and I am very excited because I think what you saw is people that decided to show up for me, because over the past several years, I've truly shown up for the people. So we are excited. We're working every day to make sure that people know there's a runoff, and we've got to go back to the polls to finish what we've started.
I was driving to the airport and I saw one of your cars, elect cars going to the airport. So
yes.
I know you guys have been very busy. In a conversation with 11 Alive, I believe this was on election night, you said something, by capturing what I brought out, I want to keep people motivated because I had a very strong women's presence in this race. I want to talk to you about being a woman in this race. What exactly do you mean by that strong women's presence?
Let me say that since I started this journey, and I sit here and I acknowledge that I have come to realize as a politician and an elected official, it is a bit different for women. But I'm very encouraged by that. If you look on a national level and even local, you don't often see a large presence of women. But I'm very encouraged because I have a great support team of women, and they were there starting in 2018 when we were able to unseat an incumbent, and nothing has ever changed. We master the numbers. We are ever present, and I am very excited to have them with me now, and we're going to finish what we started.
Are you confident that women in DeKalb County will get behind you?
Oh, absolutely. I can say that women in DeKalb are already behind me. A lot of my fundraising, also my meet and greets, community canvassing has been by and large led by women behind the scenes, and also as a part of my executive team.
Thank you. Let's say you win this race. What does day one look like for you in office?
Day one for me, the first thing I'd like to do is lift a current executive order that was signed in 2020 during the global pandemic that sent employees home to work remotely. I am not opposed to a hybrid model, but I think it's time we come back. Also, to immediately begin the evaluation of our 19 departments so that I can set about plans. I want to understand what we have. I also want to make sure that all employees in DeKalb County have clearly defined roles and responsibilities. One of the things that I've found in government is that in many instances there is ambiguity, and that leads to a lack of accountability. So I want us to have an extremely well-run and responsive government. So in order to do that, I've got to determine where we are in our departments, what technology is needed, the key functions. Some roles may change, others may be redefined so that I can create the government that I know we need.
Would you say that the government in its current stance is broken?
I won't say that we're broken, but I definitely see room for improvement. Over the years, areas like technology, planning and sustainability, there are areas where we certainly need improvement. Many residents throughout the entire campaign cycle have talked about the lack of responsiveness when they're phoning departments. So I want to ensure that if you call DeKalb County, we are responsive. I also want to make sure that we have technology that bridges us across the board, because in many instances currently, particularly with code compliance, which is one of our areas that receive the most calls, it is not easy for our residents to determine where an issue may be in the pipeline. So I want to bring in software, client relationship management systems, so that we are cross-functional. so that we can quickly answer questions and also get them to the right departments for action.
Now, some of the things that you mentioned, a lot of the things, they require funding, right? Are there any areas in the county that you would consider trimming from some budgets to make room for some of the projects that you mentioned?
Let me say that, DeKalb County, in terms of our budgeting, we've always had the opportunity and room to enhance departments and work alongside them to bring new technology. So I'm not going to say at this moment that I would necessarily cut funding in any particular areas. I think that's why it's important to begin the study on day one to determine where our current money is being spent, to then determine what and where we can make adjustments if necessary and needed to ensure that any upgrades for technology happen. Areas like planning and sustainability, literally they pay for themselves. Of course, that brings us into our contracting, our builders, and literally it's the lifeblood of DeKalb. So as I seek to help grow DeKalb, because there are several areas, particularly Central DeKalb, Memorial Drive, and South DeKalb along Candler Road, where we need the economic development. And many developers have expressed concern with our current Hansen system, and I do believe that there is a better way to do business and get things done.
Do you feel like there's excess anywhere in the county when it comes to staffing, budgeting, anything like that?
Yes, I will not say that I believe that there's excess, but I do believe in some departments we need enhancements. I sit here and in particular, roads and drainage, they have operated for years, but I do believe that there needs to be an increase in central staff there. So those are the things that we must determine. We must ensure everyone understands their job, all areas are covered so that we're not only responsive, but we're efficient.
Thank you. I want to talk a little bit about the outgoing CEO, Michael Thurman. He is credited with being a fixer. You've lived in DeKalb County for a very long time, so I'm sure that you have witnessed it along with a lot of your constituents. In an interview with our Christy Diaz, Mr. Thurman said priority number one and likely the top issue for the next CEO is rehabilitating and refurbishing the Scott Candler water treatment plant that's recently been in the news, right?
Yes.
What is your idea, proposal, plan to make sure that the residents of DeKalb County have drinking water? Because as Mr. Thurman said, I mean, you're talking about a treatment facility that's 8 decades old.
Absolutely. And, across DeKalb, we have not had a capital improvement plan. Even when you're looking at Snapfinger Wastewater Treatment Facility that was built in 1971, for over 40 years in DeKalb, we did not expand, increase, and enlarge our infrastructure, even with decades of growth. And ironically, there was just an announcement today that there will need to be an increase in water rates to ensure that we have the revenues that are necessary to enhance Scott Candler. So I would like to say that CEO has already began the process, but I'm also very proud to have been the chair of Public Works and Infrastructure for the past 3 years, where I have single-handedly allocated more than $1.4 billion in infrastructure that has addressed our waterways, stormwater, roads, drainage, and our sewer system. So I'm very familiar with everything from GEFA, Georgia Environmental Investment Act loans that we've acquired, and those are very low interest loans that are can be obtained through the federal government. And on the state level, of course, we also have WIFIA loans, Water Infrastructure Finance Act loans. So when it comes to water and infrastructure, it's not an option, it is absolutely mandatory that we provide those upgrades. So the people of DeKalb can count on me to make sure that we sharpen the pencil, that we take the necessary actions, and that of course we deliver, because we are currently and continue to be under a consent decree. And of course that occurred in 2015 for being in violation of the Clean Water Act. So we have remediated, and I do credit CEO Thurman with coming in 2017 and really getting the ball rolling.
And I just want to expand on that just a little bit. You mentioned potential grants that could come to the county. I know that you've had a history in grant writing and securing funding.
Yes.
Is that your main way to fix this issue, is to get more money into it? Or are there other avenues when we're talking about clean water and specifically rehabilitating the infrastructure there?
It definitely requires money. And honestly, over the years, it's much easier to address what one can see than what one does not. So, here in the city of Atlanta, recently there was a major water main break that occurred. And given time, when there is a failure to act, there are consequences. So with aging infrastructure, and this is nothing that's unique to just DeKalb, across the country and in urban areas, you are seeing a need to remediate decades-old infrastructure. And it does come down to money. But I'm very excited because, right now, because of the Biden Bipartisan Infrastructure Act, there are unprecedented funds that are available to help subsidize these types of projects. So we're going to do everything necessary to pull down those federal funds, because often those are some of your lowest interest loans, and they bridge the gap between what we generate through our taxing to make us reach our goals.
Speaking of subsidies, and speaking of what CEO Thurman said about raising the sewer rate to potentially fix this. Now, some residents might say, I don't want to pay any more money. Bills are stacked as they are. What is your message to those voters, and not just voters, but people who are living amongst you in the community that says, raising prices, I don't know about that. Like, I need clean water, but why does it have to come out of my pocket?
Let me say that in 2023, after over 20 years, and I want to make sure we're clear here, over 20 years, we had not raised our sewer rate. So there was a sewer rate increase, and it doubled. So we went from $45 or so to $98, and that's annually. The increases that we propose, honestly, in many instances, are long overdue. We have had decades without increases in some areas. And I always urge residents, because when there's an increase, it affects us all. It affects everyone. But I ask that people are objective, because over time, we have seen tremendous amounts of inflation in certain areas. So the cost of materials, as the former chair of Public Works and Infrastructure, I saw projects that had been slated pre-pandemic for perhaps $1 million increase to $2 million or more because of the cost of materials. So it's very unfortunate, but often we can't continue to deliver at the same level or at the same quality under current budgets. So it's never the intent of a leader or an elected official to raise rates, but one must take necessary actions, because when it comes to clean water, expanding water resources, water affects everything, and infrastructure, because independent of having water sewer capacity, we cannot recruit businesses. It also affects one's quality of life. So these are issues that must be dealt with, and I look forward to continuing to move us forward to prepare us for years to come.
And just to clarify, would you support an increase in this sewage rate to fix the issue?
I will not say that at this moment, because there's often a variety of ways. The first thing that we want to do is take a careful look at federal and state funding that may be available to determine if it is necessary to increase rates.
But you wouldn't necessarily be opposed to it if it is necessary?
Absolutely. Because again, when it comes to water and infrastructure, it is absolutely mandatory that we provide clean drinking water and that we have safe, healthy water.
Moving on here, I want to get to two more topics before I know you have a busy day ahead. Let's talk about safety in the community. It's something that has been an issue not just in DeKalb, but all across the metro area as well as Georgia. What is your plan of attack to make sure that the residents of DeKalb County remain safe?
I would say first and foremost that public safety is the #1 responsibility of an elected official. If you cannot provide a safe community, you have failed miserably. However, providing a safe community, it takes what I consider a conglomerate approach. But looking at DeKalb currently, of course, we have over 780,000 residents. DeKalb County proper has 550,000 residents. Now, according to the FBI model, which is generally used as the standard, we should employ 2.4 officers per 1,000 individuals. Currently in DeKalb County, we have 1 per 1,000. So it has affected our ability to engage in community policing and to deliver service. I do believe wholeheartedly that it is going to require that we increase pay for our officers, because in 2022, CEO Thurman engaged in a regional study to determine what we should pay our officers. Now, in that regional study, areas like Birmingham, Alabama, Montgomery, Alabama, Nashville, Memphis, Tennessee, the Carolinas were all considered. And we raised our officer's salary from $45,000 to $55,000. However, in Metro Atlanta, Sandy Springs, Brookhaven, and Dunwoody have the highest paid officers. And they are starting at a salary and incentives of $70,000. So I believe that we recruit primarily in the metro area. So to use as our model, the regional, I think we sort of missed the point. So I look forward to increasing both the salary as well as looking at a comprehensive package that would allow our officers to retire or receive a more enhanced retirement. 10 years ago, our officers in DeKalb County vested after 10 years at 82.5% of their salary. By all accounts, that was the motivator that brought our officers to DeKalb County because it gave security. But also, I'd like to see us expand housing option for our officers, so we're able to get them in communities that may have high needs for police patrol, because the presence of police and community policing, it does affect crime rates. So I will take a conglomerate approach, but I do believe it's absolutely necessary that we raise the pay rates for our officers.
And you spoke a lot about officers. What about that community policing component, those who are not in uniform, watching out for each other? Have you considered any type of programs or enhancements to existing programs, anything like that, that does not necessarily have to do with police officers themselves?
Well, you know, when we talk about community, because, you know, I can sit here and we can hire officers and I can write laws. Many people know me as the video surveillance system lady of DeKalb because I wrote the mandatory ordinance that requires all 268 gas and service stations to have mandatory cameras, as well as controlling the quality of the footage so that it could actually be a tool in apprehending perpetrators. So when I say it takes a conglomerate approach, you know, I also have funded a violence program in DeKalb County schools, a $250,000 program. And we are going into areas that have the highest incidence of violent crimes. And we are teaching kids conflict resolution. We're also providing mentorship, because what we're seeing, it is bigger than policing alone. I'm also an underwriter of PAL, and PAL is the Police Athletic League. So I actually provide midnight basketball. And during that time, of course, we have guest speakers that come out so that we're educating the children and also providing mentorship components. So not all policing and introducing children to police, it really occurs often in the community. So community policing is very important, and also getting enough officers that we can engage more with the community rather than simply clearing the board and being responsive to incidents of crime or violence.
I want to ask you about education, since we're speaking of the children. CEO Thurman is credited with helping DeKalb County schools to keep their accreditation. And it has so far moved in, some would call it a positive direction, but some also say that there's still work to do. What is your first point of tackling education in DeKalb County if you get this position?
Let me say that, I'm very proud at this moment to be a part of the 2030 planning team for DeKalb County schools. So we're looking at a comprehensive plan for schools. And, it's very difficult. No one can separate education from government because our education system affects not only the quality of life, but economic development and the recruitment of businesses. And it also affects our property values because people want to live in communities that have great schools. So one of the things that I see is an enhanced partnership. I'd also like to ensure that we are working together more collaboratively so that DeKalb County can provide additional resources and services to the school system. DeKalb County on an annual basis, we provide tons of grant resources to nonprofit organizations. And of course, many people look to government for what they can't do for themselves. But government, of course, requires those partners. So I look forward to continuing the work I've already begun with education, enhancing it, and also ensuring that we have the proper messaging for students. One of the things that I really want to tackle, for many who may be watching, there should not be a single child in DeKalb County or the state of Georgia who does not have a post-secondary education plan. Currently, the state of Georgia offers 18 trades free of charge to high school graduates. But that's something I talk about, but we should see billboards that advertise that. So ensuring that DeKalb County is a strong partner in messaging is also very important because as an elected official, you are in and out of schools, you're meeting people, you interact with children, and I want to ensure that every child in DeKalb County has a post-secondary plan.
So we've covered a lot of ground today. I have one final question for you. Why should voters on runoff day select your name over your opponent, Larry Johnson?
I'm very excited to say that I am a woman with a track record. In 2018, when I entered DeKalb County, I came underfunded, unlikely, and underestimated. I was, of course, at that time going against an incumbent. And even in this race, I am going against a gentleman that has a 22-year history with DeKalb. What sets me aside is I deliver for DeKalb. Since being elected, I have written ordinances to keep us safe, like our video surveillance system ordinance. I've also stopped the proliferation of dollar stores in our community, and that model is currently being used in 9 different states. I, understanding fiscal accountability and wanting to create the revenue that we talked about to meet the needs in other areas, instituted mandatory audit of contracts over $3 million that have saved DeKalb County taxpayers over $92 million. And as CEO, I look forward to expanding upon those programs. I'm also the Georgia Housing Act champion of 2023 for my series designed to help educate builders on doing business as well as churches in our communities and how to use LIHTC's low-income housing tax credits to help me achieve the goal, because we are facing a housing crisis in DeKalb where we simply don't have the inventory. And I also sit before you as the Greater Metro Atlanta Housing Association's person of record endorsed. So I have truly proven myself over the past several years. I've created groundbreaking legislation, and I'm the woman with a plan to revitalize South DeKalb as well as Memorial Drive. So I ask voters to be informed because we're not all the same. We are quite different. And you make me CEO, and I promise I'll make you proud.
All right. Ms. Cochran-Johnson, thank you so much for sitting down with us. We wish you the best of luck on your race.
Thank you.